Hello! So I want to begin this video by apologizing for missing last weekend's Spirit Story Saturday. My life has been kind of crazy lately and nothing really bad, just a lot of stuff going on. And I just had a busy weekend last weekend. Luckily, I had posted that recent investigation, so with any luck, maybe that'll kind of make up for missing last weekend, but I'm here today to post my Spirit Story Saturday for today at least. So speaking of my last investigation, it kind of ties in with my Spirit Story Saturday for today. So something happened in my bedroom the other night that was going to be my story for today. It's kind of funny. I had like things lined up to say for every Spirit Story Saturday because I have so many experiences that I'm so excited to share, and it's like they just keep happening just throughout my life, I guess, to just add up more and more. And something happened the other night that once again I'm going to be sharing as the story for the Spirit Story Saturday. So I'm going to begin by kind of talking a little bit about our last investigation first. My last investigation, I decided to do my own home. And the reason for this is I do not personally think my home is haunted. I think that things pass through quite often, if that makes sense, because I've never really sensed one general presence. And the only times I have, it hasn't ever really been anything negative. I typically just feel things off and on, almost as if things are just passing through. I've never really believed my home to be haunted. So I went ahead and did this investigation just because I feel as though things do pass through my home quite often, due to the fact that once I sat down and I really thought about all of the experiences that have happened here, it really brought to light the fact that maybe I should investigate my own home, because there's been more experiences in my home than I've realized. I have shared in a previous video that myself, my mother, and my boyfriend have all heard our names said in my room. I have personally went to sleep before and thought I saw a shadow pass through the reflection. It was weird. I was laying down and I had an old TV set up that I no longer have, but it was an older TV model and it was sitting on one side of the room and the mirror was the opposite side. And through the reflection of the mirror, I could see the reflection of the TV, if that makes sense. And I saw a shadow pass through. So that happened years and years and years ago. And then, of course, I was hearing our names, and then one night, my boyfriend was laying down, and I had these decorative lanterns hung from my ceiling at one point. They were like kind of like paper-made lanterns, and he told me he was laying down, and there was 3 of them. They were all holding still except one that was swinging around like crazy. He told me it kind of creeped him out. And I don't know, just sitting down thinking of all these experiences, I thought it would be a good idea to investigate my own home. So if you guys saw my last investigation, you'll have seen that most of what we caught were what we believe to be light anomalies. And what a light anomaly is believed to be is what some consider an orb. A lot of people consider orbs spirits that are traveling. And there's more that go into it and more beliefs behind it, but they all share that common belief that it is spiritual. So my boyfriend pointed something out in our last investigation that kind of creeped me out in the coolest way possible. When I was filming him do his EVP recording, we saw a couple fly behind him in the very beginning of the video, and then they stopped. I edited this video. There was more footage. Of course, I only filmed and uploaded what was, compelling and what we considered to be a finding of evidence. So keep in mind, as I was recording him do his EVP session, after we saw a few orbs behind him, There was nothing else the entire time of me recording his EVPs, the few EVP footages that I did take of him, because it wasn't just that one, he took a few of me as well. So there was more behind it than just the clip that I uploaded. And we only saw a few behind him. Now when I stepped in and I began to do my EVP recording, he pointed out to me that it's odd. A few were seen behind him, but then when I stepped in, they were going around me like crazy. And my boyfriend, though he can be a bit of a skeptic, he's never really had the immense experiences like I have had. And he pointed out to me that he thinks it's kind of weird that I've been able to sense and communicate with things my entire life, and it's almost as if that energy was more drawn to me. So this light anomaly, or multiple anomalies, it could have been the same one, was around me constantly during that investigation. So it's interesting to think that maybe it was something hanging around me, and it was just awesome to catch evidence in my own home. So with that being said, I wanted to kind of recap a little bit of our last investigation and kind of explain why we believe there was more around me and why the evidence was the way that it was. So in my spirit story, the reason that this is linked is because the spirit story that I'm sharing today takes place in my home. So this happened to me just a few nights ago. I was laying in bed and I woke up around maybe 3:40 in the morning, and I'll get to why I remember the time in just a minute. It was actually 3:42, but I'll get to why I remember the exact time in just a minute. I was laying on one side of the bed and I was asleep. I woke up and I went to turn over. When I went to turn over, I heard children giggling, and it freaked me out. It snapped me wide awake. I was awake, but it snapped me completely alert. So the reason I remember the exact time is because I thought maybe it was people outside. You know, I heard noise outside my window, and I'm in an upstairs room, so it wouldn't have been directly outside, but it sounded like someone in the same room as me. So I still looked at the time. I thought maybe it was kids being loud outside, you know, that were outside to go to school or something. And when I looked at the time, it was 3:42 in the morning. So that possibility to me was scratched, which, if you guys are familiar with the whole 3 a.m. Beliefs, a lot of people believe that 3 a.m. is considered the witching hour, so to speak, that spiritual activity is the most heightened, the hour of 3 a.m. A lot of people believe this is the time of night that, or morning, or whatever you want to consider it, that the veil between our world and the spirit world is the thinnest. This is what a lot of people believe. A lot of people believe that 3 a.m. in particular is the time due to the fact that it is the mock of the Holy Trinity. Much like people believe that if you hear 3 knocks, it is also a mock of the Holy Trinity, and it is considered an evil entity showing its presence by providing 3 knocks, or something of that nature. So the number 3 is often used in not so great situations, such as the witching hour or mocking the Holy Trinity in that way, or by providing 3 knocks. Now, I'm not saying that this is 100%, you know, expertly known. I do not claim to be an expert. This is just my personal beliefs and those of many others of the unknown. And I had such a hard time getting back to sleep for about an hour because that did creep me out. And the way I can explain it is that it did not sound like a baby laughing or a toddler. It sounded like school children, like old enough to be playing on a playground or something like that. That it just sounded to me like older kids giggling, like at least 2. And I understand a lot of people will say, you just woke up, you were half asleep, you were hearing things. Not saying that that's totally impossible, but I am saying that it was loud and pronounced enough in my general area for me to get snapped wide awake because of how loud it was. So, am I saying it's paranormal? Can't say for sure. Am I saying that it can't be explained? Yeah, it cannot be explained. So, it very well could have been paranormal, especially given that we just found evidence in my home as it is. So, I just thought that would definitely be a story worth sharing, especially after the investigation that I just shared with you guys not long ago. The original Spirit Story Saturday I had planned for today was one of my older stories that happened to me, you know, in my past that I was excited to share with you guys that now can wait for another Saturday. So I just want to leave you guys with this. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to share any paranormal experiences that you have had, and just, you know, keep watching. I have more to show, more investigations and more Spirit Story Saturdays to share with you guys, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. Again, feel free to subscribe and just keep watching.